Hey guys, welcome to DM Talk, episode 36. Tonight we're going to talk about character development. There's a little bit of mix-up in the description and a couple of social media platforms I got to fix, but I will fix that later. Sorry about that, it does happen. Tonight we're going to talk about character development. Now, my shows are not scripted. What I mean by that is I don't have a full script. You know, I do take notes and stuff like that. I do have a story. I do write the story for the main campaign, but I don't have a bona fide script because role-playing games, you can't do it. It's impossible to do that because the main characters of the story is not you. It's the players. The players are the one that are the story. You can write an outline. You can write where you want to go with the story, or you can write some form of a script. But know that the players are going to go whirlwind around your story. Now, I've mentioned this before in other episodes of DM Talk. Character development is very important, at least for me it is, to have that fleshed out character. You want that NPC to feel original, to feel real. It is a fantasy game. We all know it's a fantasy game. We know it's not reality, but you want it to be as close to reality as possible. Now, how do you develop your NPC? Stats really don't mean diddly squat. They don't, because you can make them strong, you can make them weak. It's all aesthetics. It's all look, feel, etc. It's what you give in that NPC. The energy that you put behind it. You could have a piece of paper that has all the information for you, all the stats, all the powers, all the abilities, all those beautiful checks. But know that when you play the game, players, they're in the spotlight, they're the main characters, and they're going to overrun your NPC or do whatever. That's just the way it works. So you want this NPC to be as fleshed out as possible. Now, a lot of DMs will just have a very vague information about this NPC. I don't do that. I put as much thought process as possible. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be times where the party goes into a town, and when they go into a town, they're going to meet these NPCs, and not everybody's going to be fleshed out. I know that. But the main NPCs in your story can be fleshed out. Or you want to give them as much information as possible. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to be accepted, because players do what they want to do. Remember I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, whirlwind effect? That's just the way it is. That's why you cannot write a foolproof script. This is not a Hollywood movie. They're not Hollywood actors, and they're not going to grab the script and start reading. That's right. Today I'm going to... No, you can't do that. That is not role-playing. That's not what it's about. Role-playing is a DM or GM, game master, storyteller, telling the story, being descriptive. That is your job to do that. And the players, that's their opportunity. They're the spotlight. So when you develop the character, your NPC, and you bring out all the love and hate, those people are the ones that are going to either connect. Those players at the table are going to connect with that NPC or not. Those are the things that you really have to work on as a game master, DM, whatever. Because if you don't, it's gonna fall apart. Character development is very important, at least for me it is. I spent hours just going into characterization of an NPC. Now, either they'll love him or hate him. There's a lot of sandboxing in role-playing because of that. They're supposed to meet NPC A in the middle of town, or a forest, or a cave, or an abandoned building, wherever. They're not going to feel it. Parties are not going to feel it. Look at what happened in Harsh Reality. All the guys are like, yeah, evil campaign. They caused a coup and they killed the leader of their group. Boy, was that a whirlwind effect or what? Yes. I like to be challenged, so I like stuff like that. So if the players challenge me and they're going to go the exact opposite of what you have written in the story, then fine. If NPC A has so much character development and NPC B, C, and D do not, oh well. It's just the way it works. But very easily, there's a trick that DMs do. You take that information and pass it on to another NPC. Conveniently. They don't know that. They don't know what happens behind the screen. That's why I have a sheet of paper with different names on it. Because you don't know what they're going to do. Oh, let's talk to her. What is she doing? A random person in a tavern drinking ale in the corner of the bar or in the middle of the bar. She just happens to be pretty and they want to talk to her. I had no plans whatsoever on this NPC. They were supposed to meet NPC A at the inn, not the tavern, but they decided to go to the tavern. I can talk to you about this till I'm blue in the face. Because players do what they do. And how do you develop your NPCs accurately if players are going to do what they do? How do you develop all that stuff? You know how you do it? Like I said before, you pass that information to another NPC. If you know that NPC A is a woman and they're going to meet a woman and it wasn't the right one, but they're going in the tavern, well, NPC A happens to be that one. So all you got to do is change it quickly from one to another. But do it discreetly so you won't be found out. So the player characters won't be on. You did it on purpose. They were supposed to go to the inn, and now what the heck's going on? Trying to swindle us? Trying to railroad? Trying to change things your way, Henry? No, I'm not. That's just the way you do things. You want to do things, as I'm spitting, I'm sorry. You want to do things correctly. You want if the players are going to go whirlwind effect in the beginning of the story, then you're going to have to bring those pieces back to them. If they're astray, have the pieces be there. That's all you're doing is shifting things. And character development to me is important because if I put a lot of effort in one or two NPCs, and I know the players are going to go ahead and do their shenanigans, let them. That is the fun of role-playing. When there's a free world to do what you want to do, you're good guys. But yeah, maybe they don't want to fight today. Maybe they want to go to, like I said before, a tavern, have a couple of ales. Maybe they want to sleep for a while. Maybe they want to read a book. Sounds stupid, right? That's just the world of role-playing. One of the big reasons why I love streaming live, and I will tell you this, it's because I want you to see the mistakes. I've said this before. I want you to see the way I do things as DM and the way the guys do things as players. Not everybody's going to be perfect. I'm sure not perfect. I know they're not. Everyone's not perfect. But it's the imperfections that make it fun to watch. It's the imperfections that make things beautiful, because you're seeing the reality of things. You're seeing what role-playing is about. I love role-playing so much that I can role-play any character, don't matter, weak, strong, evil, good. And the thing that brings me back all the time are those imperfections. Oh, I forgot to do that. In the end of season 1, or campaign 1, one of my guys decided, oh, I've got this legendary item which I found in the beginning of the campaign, and now I'm going to use it. Opens it up, I happen to be evil, opens up a fissure in the ground, and kills my bad guy. But he has a legendary resistance. But I had a brain fart. I didn't use it. So I gave it to him. Was it wrong in my part? Yes. Was it a mistake? Absolutely. But it was fun. Were they like, oh, we got it, yeah, brr. Yeah, absolutely. That's the fun of role-playing. When you do stuff like that. When the mistakes come out. Or not even a mistake, you have a brain fart. You know, for those of you who love to game master and DM, there's a lot behind the screen. There's more than just the story. There's the mechanics. There's you're a god, basically. You're doing everything. You're the world. You're a god in your world. And by doing that, everybody has fun. So every time I do this voice, they know that voice is going to be evil. They know that is my headline voice, and they're going to be like, oh. But character development is the main topic tonight. Character development. How do you develop them? Do you make them strong? Do you make them weak? Stats don't mean diddly squat to me. No. If you look at the character sheet, what's important to me as a DM is the background. Character development. All those stats don't mean diddly squat if your character isn't developed right. If that NPC doesn't have a point. If the NPC doesn't have a point in your story, why create it? Oh, but he has awesome stats. So what? He can have the best stats in the world. And if he has a shitty background, there is no point in that NPC being in your story. The whole point of a background is to flesh out the character, right? When you make your character, oh yeah, I'm a paladin. What's the point of your paladin? Oh, I'm an acolyte. Really? How do you become an acolyte? You go to D&D Beyond and you click, boom, acolyte. It does it for you. I'm an old school gamer. You had to think about stuff like that. Come up with a background. You had in the book background ideas, which is D&D Beyond gives you a lot of ideas. It's great, but come up with your own idea. That's what role-playing is about, folks. Come up with your own idea. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to come up with a background. No, it isn't. My paladin was an oathbreaker. He's trying to come back. He's trying to do right. What happened? What made him an oathbreaker? His town was slaughtered. His family was slaughtered. So he's taking revenge for the warriors, the devious lich that killed everyone in his town. And he's want revenge. That's the only thing he wants. So by that oath he has as a paladin is broken. Because paladins don't do that. Paladins, do not kill for revenge. They are honorable. They're lawful good. They take care of the needy. They help people. There is no revenge in their blood. That's the way of the Oathbreaker. And if you disagree with me, comment right now and we can argue about it. Because I will disagree with you. The part of an NPC which makes it strong is the background. Like I just said with the Oathbreaker. Is it difficult to do that? To some people it is. Not to me. The main part, the core, the love, the heart of the NPC is the background. You could have the nifty sword, the weapons, the cloak, armor, all those things, and it makes you go, But you know what? It doesn't matter. If you don't have a good background, why bother doing all that? Why bother doing it? Everyone on Rumble right now, all your folks on Rumble, like, subscribe, get the word out. The Playerole is hot. We're here. We're talking about DM talk. We're talking about character development tonight. Everybody on Rumble, hear me out. We're talking about DM talk. We're talking about character development. And I'm going to tell you, for all you old school gamers, if you're old school, you will agree with me. You're going to agree with me. The background is the heart, the core to everything when it comes to character development. If you don't have a good background, there is no sense of even role-playing. Get up and leave the table. There is no way that you could tell me that, in D&D Beyond, I picked Acolyte. Or I picked Soldier. It gives you all these ideas. So what? And it gives you even, why? It gives you so much that you are pointing and clicking. Point, click, point, click, point, click. What about your idea? What about coming up with a concept? Forget the background D&D Beyond. What about you coming up with a concept? A background. It's optional to use all those things. Oh, but you get some cool stuff with it. Yeah, I'm not going to deny it. Deny that. It does come with cool stuff. But your mind can come up with something even better. So why not? See, that's the point. We are in this digital world that we take and say, hey, VTT. We have our character sheets, all digital. It's there for us. But then when you start to make your character pen and paper, because you're going to a party, and in that party, they say, hey, we're playing D&D. Bring an empty character sheet, or just bring dice and I got everything else. All right, cool. Let's make a character. You got the player's manual, you got the DM's guide, you got the monster manual, the big three. That's all you really need. For a DM, you can get source books and all that other stuff, but really, you need the monster manual, the player's manual, and DM's guide. That's all you need. Those 3 books. Argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong, Henry. No. I'm going to tell you you're wrong. That's all you're going to need. 3 books. You don't need all those other source books. You really don't. Oh, a fistband's got a whole bunch of cool shit for a Dragonborn. Yeah, okay, cool. But that's it. 3. All right, make your character. I had my options in how to make my character. No, we're playing old school. You're gonna roll your stat by stat. Oh, how many dice do I use? Are you freaking kidding me? People! I guarantee you most of the gamers out there will not know how to make a character. Want to know why? Because they use digital. I'm not talking old school folks. I'm talking the new players out today. They go to D&D Beyond. They say, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? Go to manual, do this, do that, yada, yada, yada. Everything is option. Everything is point and click. Everything is thrown in there for you. There's over a dozen races. Why? Why does there need to be? Pick one. Oh, I'm bored. Character development, all that comes to this, guys. You need to know how to do it both ways. The digital way, yeah, is it fun? I'm not going to deny it. Yeah, it's fun. And of course, pen and paper. Pen and paper is the most fun because you get to know the ins and outs of that character development. You get to know the background. Oh, it has some cool options in the book, but come up with your own option. Here's one. Here's a background. Oh, I'm a ranger. My family, they raised me. My dad was a ranger. My mom was a cleric. Simple as that. You know, my dad is a ranger. My mom was a cleric. I decided to follow my dad's footsteps. He taught me how to track. He taught me how to do the right thing. I'm playing a lawful good ranger. Is that wrong to do? Come up with your own background? Come up with your own background and then talk it over with the DM? That's going to work for my story, George. Thank you. Originally, George was one of my players. In campaign 1, he came up with the Zodiac idea. We both talked about it, and together we progressed that story and integrated it in the main plot in season 1. Is it difficult to do that? To integrate your own story, to integrate your own backgrounds, to integrate your own ideas, your fresh ideas, instead of somebody else's ideas? Instead of using a book, opening up that book and looking at all the options and saying, I like that, I pick that, I pick that. You don't have to do that. That's what makes role-playing, that's the beauty of role-playing. You don't have to do that. That's all optional. I'm sorry, the main problem with RPGs nowadays is they want to make things virtual. And you know what? VTTs are great when you want to do things, connect with other people out of the country, different state, or whatnot. It works great. But the character development process is very important, because if you don't know how to make it the old school way on pen and paper, you're not going to know what to do on the digital. The digital is great for fast lookups. Oh, what spell am I using? Oh, what weapon do I have? How many actions do I have? I mean, that's very simple to look up anyway, depending on what level you are. I'm playing an Echo Knight. Okay, well, Echo Knight, fighter, action surge, all that stuff. He gets extra actions. So those are the things that you got to look at. And it's your job as a player to know, A, what you're playing, to know how to make that character in pen and paper accurately. So you know how to do it digitally and know what it is. 3, character development. The most important. 1 and 2, you could know 100%, but if you're not good with 3, there is no way that character or NPC is going to work out, because you're just taking somebody else's ideas. The soldier, the acolyte, the knight, you're taking somebody else. Oh, that's a great idea. All right, well, you took the knight. Why don't you elaborate on it? The soldier, it gives you so much information. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's that information that puts you in that place. So when you're playing a role-playing game, and you're sitting here, and you're looking at your DM, and he's going to ask you, an orc, 7.5 foot tall, protruding teeth, tusks coming out of his lower mouth, an white ooze coming out of his lower chin. His clothes are torn. He has a warhammer in his right hand. What are you doing? You're socially awkward as an individual. Your role-playing skills are great, but for some reason, you made your character quickly and didn't get into the character development of that character. You just picked whatever the hell you wanted to pick because it was cool. And the role-playing moment, which could have been an experience of a lifetime, was dwindled by combat. Yes, combat. Most people just decide to have combat because they don't know what to do or say. A socially awkward orc, different, big, large, approached you. You being human, a human fighter, picked the wrong things in your background. Just didn't know. Heck, you picked neutral as your alignment. And you didn't really give a shit about your background, so you went ahead and started role-playing, and it didn't work out for you. Your rolls are bad, and you got frustrated. Guys, the frustration can be alleviated by doing things right. The game mechanics are there for a reason, yes. But the background, the story part of that character is 100% important. If you can't get that right, why bother role-playing? It's in the R. Role-playing. You are role-playing. That's what people do. And if you don't have any development in that character because you just decided to say, fuck it, guess what? It's your fault. It is your fault. Because in Dungeons and Dragons, in fantasy, if you picked an acolyte by accident and you didn't see it, but the DM saw it, he's gonna use that storyline. And he's gonna have a whirlwind effect, and there's gonna be a clash between the DM and the player. You're gonna be like, hey, I wanted to be good, and I didn't want to be evil, but why did you pick acolyte? You didn't give me anything for a story. So you picked, and I looked, and you said yes. We both agreed. You picked acolyte. And we all know the definition of an acolyte. So, with that being said, what are you going to do now? There's now a fight between the DM and the player because of choices in their background. How much is too much? See, I think that D&D's got it all wrong. The background should be open to all players. It should have, granted, it has their options, all that stuff. That's all fun. But should be a section for it that says players background notes only. Meaning everything else is optional, but in that section it is you, all your creativity, everything. Oh, wait, it has it on the sheet, Henry. You're wrong. It has that anyway. So what do players do? They look over the backgrounds in the book. They look over the backgrounds in the app, D&D Beyond, and they pick and click. So imagine all those options were gone. This is why I love old school role-playing games. What's your background now? Oh, I don't know. I have to come up with one. How do I do that? What do you mean, how do you do that? Are you serious? Folks, when a DM, when a storyteller or a game master tells me, Henry, come up with a background, I'll come up with 4 or 5 backgrounds right then and there within 5 minutes. I love doing that. I love fleshing out the character. That is the core of role-playing. Yeah, I remember a long time ago, I came into a bar and I saw her and I fell in love with her. I had my gun on my side. I took it out and all of a sudden there was a big battle and I had to turn around and I started shooting away. Huh? What do you mean? So wait a second, you went into the bar, you saw her, you fell in love, and you started shooting away. Henry, what are you trying to say? See, that was it. I was told to go there, to meet her. I had this gold coin for her, just one solid coin. It was her sister's before she died. All I had to do was give it to her. But she was so beautiful that I fell in love with her. Then and there, love at first sight. All I had to do was give her the gold coin. But I kept it for myself. Didn't tell her about her sister. But man, she's a looker. And that's how a story is developed. So as that NPC grows closer to the PC, the player character, that woman will find out later that her sister did die. That information was withheld from you. So it makes things challenging now because you have the NPC, you have the player that have this connection, some form of love, and then that turns into hate, that turns into, oh my gosh, a story. There's a connection there. When you have a connection with the NPC and the DM has connection with the players, and everything is going and flowing around, that's roleplay. The story can be very simple. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an epic. It can be something as simple as I just said, or in other descriptions. People have their own unique idea of character development, and that's great. But I think today, 2025, for Dungeons and Dragons, their options are massive. And when you have all those options, it takes away the option here. It takes away that option because now the player don't get to think. The player says, oh, I like that option. I like the knight. I like the vagabond. I like that. So what? Let me check my numbers here. Excuse me. So what can you do? What do you do when you have all those options? Do you use it? See, that's where session zero is so important. And I'm a big advocate for session zero. Talk to your players. They say, hey, look, all that option crap, gone. You have every right as a DM to tell your players that. You have every right. Because if you don't, then there's a big problem. There's a huge problem. When you have bad character development, the story doesn't progress. There's a lot of... Imagine you're listening to music, and then that music is somehow echoed by... You know when there is a lot of static in your mic? Right? Let's say you're playing guitar and you get that static and you get feedback. It really takes away from your focus of the music, doesn't it? It's the same way with role-playing. It's the same way with character development. Without proper character development, it takes away your focus of your character. And if you think I'm wrong, try it. Or maybe you're one of those guys that just picks and plays it and that's it. I'm not one of those guys. All that's optional. The options might be good, might be bad, but there's another option right here. If you don't like any of those options, talk it over with your DM and say, hey dude, I got this great idea. This guy used to be in the mid 80s, just a regular guy. And, he came up to this desk, a Blockbuster to be. He was just going to rent a video. And as he opened the door to that Blockbuster to rent a video, he forgot his car. So he went back to his car. He got the card. He went back to the store. And he said, hey, man, I want to rent this scary movie. So he goes to look and he sees a Swamp Thing. No, it isn't like the Swamp Thing. He sees American Werewolf in London. I don't know. He sees a whole bunch of different movies. And he checks out the video, the VHS, that he wants to see. And all of a sudden, he hears a big in the background. He's like, what the hell? So he looks and he sees the counter blown to pieces, and he sees this circular light of blue behind the counter. But everything around it, debris everywhere, is destroyed. So what do? Out of curiosity, you jump in. And as you jump in, you're in a different world. You are in a world of creatures, and dragons, and elves, and dwarves, and orcs. You're in a fantasy world. So the point is, that very elaborate story, that little fictitious background, is something that you could throw at your DM. Say, look, I have this great idea. What do you think? Come up with it. It can be something as cockamamie as that, and the DM is be like, I love it. Or the DM is like, I don't like the sci-fi part of it. I don't want to do a time jump like that, but I can say, let's say that you're back in the fantasy world, and then this time you're in a city, and in the city you're in this magic shop, and as you're shopping for a magical item or whatnot, you don't have a lot of money, but you see in the distance This individual with a black hood starts robbing people. You know it's a rogue. Come on, everybody know what a rogue is. There are different classes. He starts robbing people, and what you do is you leave the magic shop. And as you leave, the shop blows up. As it blows up, a portal opens, starts sucking everything in the town. You run, you grab to something, you grab onto something, you get pulled in. You're a different part of the realm of Dominulus. You fall in the sky, hit the water, you barely make it, but you swim and you pass out. You're in some form of a beach. You awaken from a very long rest, per se, and you look around you and you see individuals with elongated ears and gold eyes, dark skin. And you realize you're being taken. Your wrists are together, your ankles are together with rope. You can see this staff you're holding on to. You're swaying, you're upside down. These individuals are drows. They're taking you to their cave, and you happen to be a slave. So, hey, that could be a good background. Makes for an interesting story, doesn't it? It all depends on you. Use your mind. When you create a character, come up with something that you love. Haven't you thought about it when you were younger as a kid? You looked into the stars and you're like, man, I only had a ship to fly, to fly into space. Or maybe you wanted a car that can hover. When I was young and I saw, Back to the Future, all that stuff in it, I loved. I loved the watch, the hoverboard, the flying car. That was kind of cool. Those are the things that were cool back then. And they can be cool now. Those are the things that, as a player, as a DM, you throw in people to love. When you love something and you enjoy playing it, you enjoy writing about it, it becomes real. It's real to me, it's real to you when you do love it. It doesn't matter if a company is dragging it into the ground. It doesn't matter if the community doesn't like it anymore. It only matters to you. If it's important to you and important to the people at your table, that's role-playing. See, role-playing is not a bunch of actors around the table and doing their thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's great. Everybody's got their own thing. But what role-playing really is, those imperfections, those mistakes you make as a DM, those mistakes you make as a player, those fuck moments, those shit moments that you're playing around the table, that you're doing something and it just doesn't work out. That's role playing. When you come to the table and you have, a plaid shirt, or you order pizza. You have drinks around the table. You have candy around the table. You eat popcorn. Whatever it is, that is role playing. That is all role playing. We sit down. The person telling the story tells a story, and you use dice to manipulate a situation, either positive or negative, in your favor or not in your favor. And it can go either or. The storyteller, DM, game master, or player. And what makes it so good is character development. Folks, I am going to say this until I'm blue in the face. Really, I am. White Wolf had a wonderful game called Vampire the Masquerade. My friends and I played it religiously, and I loved it. The second edition. The first edition was good, but the second was much better. It blew it away out of the water until they made Vampire the Requiem, I think it was. That was complete shit, but that's just my opinion. And opinions are opinions. But in my opinion, the second edition, White Wolf's Vampire the Masquerade, was awesome. It created what? It developed a world. It world built. It had mummy, it had fairy, it had so many different connectors, cogs that made the main story move. Those are the things that you need to make a PC or NPC a story move, a story connect, a story to perfection. Thank you. All right, best view viewers on steamboat.com. Remove the space. I'll check it out. All right, I will check it out. All right, my friend, tell me a little bit more of Steamboat, or Steamboat. Tell me more about it, and I can continue what I'm talking about. Check me out on Playerole on Discord. Check it out on Discord. If you want to talk to me on that, please do so. Thank you. And let me continue with what I have to say. So those are the things that makes a role-playing game. The connection, the story, all that stuff is character development. I'm going to stress character development is a core to role-playing. And if anybody has anything to say or disagree with me, please, I urge you to say it in the comments. Write it. Go on Discord, Playerole, we'll have a chat about it. I love it. Healthy debate about character development. Without character development, like I said, gave you examples, without character development, your story will implode, everything will implode, and the role-playing aspect is completely gone. I was talking about Vampire the Masquerade, how it has all these connectors, these cogs. There's a main cog and there's a dozen or more smaller cogs that create a big story. What made that realm, universe so good is the story aspect of it. The other cogs, they had background. They gave examples of backgrounds, but they didn't give you 6 to 20, 30 pages of backgrounds. They gave you a list, but it was, hey, it's optional. It is. I feel like in Dungeons and Dragons, it's no longer optional. It's, you gotta click. Don't even, if you're on D&D Beyond, don't even do that part then. But then your character's not finished. It'll give you that little, your character's not finished yet, because you have to come up with a background. Well, let me do my own. Look, let's go. I use my phone. I'm going to go into one of the characters in D&D Beyond. Just an old character from a other campaign. All right, so let's go to Brahm. He was one of my characters. Okay, so you have background. Background. You have a section where you write your own. Great. But you click on it, and it gives you what? He's a wanderer. Feature, wanderer. You have an excellent memory of maps and geography. You pick that background. Characteristics, neutral, male, brown, medium, hair, eyes, brown, size, medium. That's simple, describing your character. Personality traits, ideals. Again, it's a drop menu and you click and you don't come up with your own ideals. They don't give you that option. And if you think I'm wrong, I'm going to go ahead and edit it. And I'm going to show you that I'm right. All right, so you want to go to backgrounds. All right, folks. So you can't see it right now, but there's a section where you have a background. Look, I'm clicking. And you got like all these background 2014, 2024 rules. Acolyte, charlatan, folk hero. Pick one. Why not come up with your own? Languages. You can't even come up with your own language. All right. Yeah, you can choose a language. Great. The thing that I love about it the most is the notes section. The notes section is where you get to come up with your own flavor of your background. So, it is what it is. But that's the way you do it. And then, like I said, these abilities and stuff, they don't really mean anything without the backgrounds. So let's say I don't finish it, right? It'll give me an error, like a little error. It'll say, well, you're not finished. And excuse me, and that's not cool, because now I'm forced to pick this background. Look, I changed my background. I put noble, position of privilege. Bonds, ideals, all that stuff. There should be an option where it would be optional and then do it. Here, you could even look it up on the internet. Even better, let's look at the player's handbook, shall we? I have the digital version. I've got the live version and a digital version. So let's look at the digital version. All right, let's look at the player's handbook. 2024, the new one. That's the newest one. So let's look under backgrounds. All right, we're going to combat, character class. You're making your class, all that stuff. Your feats, background, origin, concepts. Now they have origins. So you're looking character background. Your character's background is a collection of characteristics that represent the place and occupation that were most formative before your character embarked on a life of adventure. Sounds great, right? Each background includes brief narrative of what your character past might be like. What about you? What about you putting in that information? A background includes the following parts: ability scores, feats. No. What good are those feats and ability scores if your background sucks? No, it doesn't anywhere. It doesn't say anywhere. I'm sorry. It doesn't say that it's optional here at all. If you choose a background or species from the older book, see the sidebar, background and species from older books in Chapter 2 for how to use them with options are here. So you're picking all this, right? And here's your descriptions. 16 backgrounds are presented in section in alphabetical order. 16, folks. And they have nice pictures by them. They're great. A farmer. And under the 2024 version, you get the ability score of strength, constitution, and wisdom. It's all part of your background, according to them. You grew up close to the land. Tending animals, cultivating the earth rewarded you with patience and good health. You have a keen appreciation for nature's bounty, alongside a healthy respect for nature's warmth. Wonderful. Now that's the new version of the Player's Manual, 2024. Now let's look at the old version, Player's Manual, from 2014, which is the most popular version of 5e. So let's look at backgrounds for that. Okay, so personality and backgrounds. Characters are defined by much more than their race and class. They're individuals with their own stories, interests, connections, and capabilities beyond those that class and race define. This chapter expounds on the details that distinguish characters from one another, including the basics of name, physical description, and rules of background, languages, and finer points of personality and alignment. All right. See the difference between the 2024 version and the 2014 version. Gives you character details, name, all that stuff. Gives you random weights and all that, alignments, languages, standard languages, personality, ideals. Wouldn't it be great if you do this on your own instead of having an option? All this in the older games are optional. From my understanding, they're optional. I could pick up an old role-playing game, one of my books, and show you. It's optional. All those things are optional. Or you could create your own background and story. That is all I have for you tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode 36 of DM Talk. Like I said, guys, Dungeons and Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade, like I talked about earlier, these are role-playing games, and what makes role-playing games is what? Character development. Got to create that background of yourself and try it one time. Don't use the options from the books. Come up with it in your own way, and you'll enjoy the game more. Trust me. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll see us, me, and the guys. We'll be playing the next episode of Harsh Reality, a 6-part side story that's part of the main campaign. So we'll see where it goes tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, and have a great night.